told people in Connecticut that I was being asked to speak at a roast of my mother, they said, "Seriously? How are you going to do that without looking like a schmuck?" What they didn't know, and I didn't know until a few moments ago, is just how much of a schmuck I looked like roasting my mom after my Uncle David's speech. In any event, being one of the few kids in a dual-career household in the 1970s, I can only echo my Uncle David's sentiments. My mom was like that woman in the old Aviance commercial. Y'all remember that one? She could bring home the bacon and fry it up in a pan, and never, never, never let you forget you're a man. Well, actually, I never asked my dad about that last part. Because frankly, I really didn't want to know. My mom was an amazing cook. My friends would brag about their mothers making southern specialties like pan-fried chicken and chicken-fried steak. But I'd tell them their moms had nothing on my Yankee mom. She could take a regular pound of hamburger and make it this glorious meal. It was only years later that I learned of her secret recipe. It's that famous Yankee tradition known as hamburger help. My mom also made sure that we experienced all the benefits of a Tallahassee summer. We'd go out and play in the woods, have gumball wars, ride our bikes without helmets, and when we get home, we wouldn't be in some cooped-up, air-conditioned environment. No, it'd be 80 degrees inside with 90% humidity. You see, we had one of these old thermostats, just like this one. And what you're supposed to be able to push this lever to the left and the right, right? Well, what my parents would do, see if I can find this here. Oh yeah, I get it. If I get it out of my jet. Oh yeah, I get it. What they do is they would drive a nail at the 80-degree mark. So you could literally not turn it beyond 80 degrees. This is a true story, folks. And then it would turn fall. And they take that nail out. And they draw it at the 60-degree mark. And you'd have 2 holes in the wall all year long, and you couldn't move this thing beyond those points. Now, making the most of what we had was important, and wasting things drove my parents crazy. Although I have no need for a hairbrush now, as you can see, back in the 70s and 80s, my siblings and I would grab the nearest hairbrush and take it to school so we'd look cool all day. Inevitably, these hairbrushes would get lost, and my parents put a stop to it. One day I came into the bathroom, and tied to a 10-pound weight was this, okay? The hairbrush was tied to a weight. And until I was 7 years old, I thought bathroom items in our family were all made by the same company. Every shampoo, bar of soap, and roll of toilet paper all said, Holiday Inn. Saving money on food, electricity, and other bathroom items allowed my folks to spoil us in other ways. We went to Seminole basketball games at the old Tully Gym, sat in the south end zone at Doak for Darryl Mooger's 0-11 season, and attended snake camps at FSU. We also got the coolest birthday and Christmas presents around. Each year we get something really cool. A jukebox, a pinball machine, an Atari game console. But this is a roast after all. So let me tell you a story about Christmas 1974. Given all the great gifts we've been given before, I figured it wasn't too much to ask for a really big present that year, a donkey. No, not a stuffed one, a real one. Now, what would a 10-year-old do with a donkey? Well, I plan to ride it around, of course, or maybe have it pull me in a wagon just like on the Little Rascals. The biggest concern I had was not whether I'd get a donkey, but how I'd keep my little brother Mark from riding it. As Christmas approached, the donkey evidence became more and more compelling. I found a large bunch of carrots in the refrigerator to feed the donkey, right? I heard my parents mess around the garage. Aha! That's where they're keeping it. Finally, Christmas Day came, and I charged down the stairs. One of the first gifts I opened, Bridie of the Grand Canyon, a book about, you guessed it, a donkey. After opening up the last of my presents, my parents told me to walk out to the garage. Yes! I ran to the garage, swung the door open, and found a lawnmower. Seeing my evident displeasure, my mom said, "But Joey, you can make money with it." For the next few years, I wasn't being pulled by a donkey, but I was pushing a lawnmower. A gift of a lawnmower was just one example of my parents' desire for us to be self-sufficient. Their goal was to make sure that we knew the value of hard work and told us we could do anything we put our mind to. My brother Mark is the perfect example. Florida High, Mark came in at 5'5" and weighed 120 pounds soaking wet. And he wanted to play nose guard. Now, most nose guards in high school weighed at least twice as much as Mark because they had to face off against hulking centers, guys who had spent their formative years at every all-you-can-eat place in the tri-state region. When told of Mark's desire, Florida High coach Art Witter said, "Now, Mark, you can't play nose guard because you're going to get swatted like a bug." Mark was not to be denied. Not only did he start at nose guard in his senior year, he was a fourth down specialist. The big hulking center would hike the ball to the punter, and that poor dude had no chance of blocking my superfly brother as he went right by him. Indeed, you can look it up. County's leading punt blocker in 1984 was none other than Mark Pankowski. Another example is my sister Anne-Marie. One day, Mark, Anne-Marie, and I were talking about the future. My sister says to me, "I want to be a brain surgeon." Mark and I burst out laughing because there's not a scientific gene in our family. "You boys be quiet," my mom yelled. "Anne-Marie can be a brain surgeon if she wants to be." Now let's be clear. Anne-Marie didn't go on to become a brain surgeon, but she chose to explore different paths. She got a law degree from the University of Virginia, a tax degree from NYU, and worked at a large New York law firm before she decided to become a stay-at-home mom. And yeah, she's been as relentless as a full-time mom as she ever was at a law firm. She's got 6 kids under the age of 11, giving my mom 13 grandchildren. Anne-Marie took a different career path than my mom, but she's clearly totally inspired by her. Within our household, my mom had a nickname, Reedy. Now, no one's quite sure where this nickname came from, but it's used quite frequently, as in this Mother's Day poem, which my sister wrote for my mom a few years back. Since my Uncle David did a toast, let me quote this wonderful poem. It's Reedy by Anne-Marie Ray. "All the true stars are known by one name, and our Reedy can claim that fame. Throughout the city and the state, there are many folks who call her great. Reedy loves to watch every sport they play, and is quick with a saying to make your day. People know her, swear she's like no other, and that's one of the many reasons why I'm proud to call her my mother. But it's not the degrees and awards that hang on her wall that impress me most of all. It's the fact that no matter what else goes on in her life, Reedy always puts first being a wonderful mother and loving wife. So on this special Mother's Day, I just wanted to take the opportunity to say, thanks for being my role model and best friend, and please know that my love for you is without end. Mine too."